I'm saying in Arabic that, oh, if only David knew that his children would grow up to be Goliath one day.
This is my friend Adam Elara. Here he is doing vocal warm-ups for a show in San Diego. His latest release is Watermelon Kickflip, an English and Arabic pop-punk dabke fusion song that calls to Palestinian culture. He calls it a celebration as he jumps around on stage. Afterwards, I met with him at his studio to learn more about his music. There's a keen element of tenacity to Adam. He pours effort into protesting, supporting the PCRF, drawing his own comic books, and decorating his guitar to be a display of positive Arab representation. His latest release, while initially sounding facetious, is both a defiant statement against the actions of Israel and a poetically written Arabic lament of the sorrows of oppression.
This string is an oud that was recorded in the West Bank that we were able to get. It's really cool, right? It actually sounds like both an oud and a guitar at the same time, like this particular version of it, and it just really fits well in the context of having that bridge between dabke and pop punk, because that sounds like something that could be played like in a Blink song already.
Yeah.
We were able to get field recordings of kids playing in Gaza before October 7th. And kind of just put it all together here. This is like a master cut of that. So you hear kids playing, you hear like the sounds of the street and like birds. It's a really special thing with recording anything, is like you're capturing a moment, and that's like a very interesting kind of like. It's not necessarily calm before the storm, because this has been an occupation for like 75 plus years, but it's a very like cool like snapshot of something that was like really special. Vocally, I'm singing. I'm saying in Arabic that, oh, if only David knew that his children would grow up to be Goliath one day. Right? So I have sounds of kids playing, and then I'm singing about like the trajectory of like different, like the other children that have gone on to become now like the aggressor. I mean, that David Goliath story is about like, a young man throwing a rock at his oppressor.
An underdog, yes.
An underdog. Mm-hmm. And now we see the exact same imagery flipped, where it's the Palestinians that are throwing rocks as like, a liberation and stuff, these children against tanks. So having these two put together on top, I thought was really like a very specific thing I wanted to convey to the listener.
Who are you? What are you working on right now?
My name is Adam Elara, and I am currently finishing my rock Middle Eastern Indian album.
And what is the name of the album?
Brown Man Down. I am bringing in elements of pop punk, alternative rock, new metal, industrial, goth stuff into Arabic traditional music, along with South Asian traditional styles of music too.
And you recently just released a song that is a pop punk dabke fusion?
The world's first pop punk dabke song. Yeah.
And what is it called?
That one's Watermelon Kickflip.
And how would you describe Watermelon Kickflip?
I would say it's a celebration of the strength and resilience of the Palestinian people in the face of adversity.
To those who don't know, what is dabke exactly?
Dance lesson! We're going to do dabke. You want to learn how to do dabke,
sure,
right?
Okay. How to do dabke.
You can count to 6, I assume?
I can count to
You're
6.
You're a very smart man. I know you can do a lot more than that. Okay, so we're going to lead with the left foot.
Okay, the left foot.
Okay, so it never crosses over, but it's in front of your right. We're going to just keep going this direction. Okay?
Only in one direction?
Only one direction. I mean, if you're in a circle, you can go around like that, but it's always that way.
Gotcha.
Okay? So we're going to have your foot angled out a little like this.
Yeah.
And you're going to lead with your left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Kick this way. So you can do like with the straight leg, and then you come back and stomp. You can step, you can jump, whatever.
So there's a stomp at the last step.
Yeah, at the 6.
At the 6.
So we would normally be holding hands in a line.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the story behind the stomping?
The stomping, well, some say that when they were building houses in Bilad Shams, we're talking about Jordan, Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, because of the way that the houses are built to flatten the houses, like the whole village would come together when they were building, and they would basically have music playing and do the dabke to flatten out the ground.
How do you personally relate to the situation in Palestine?
It's the very first protest I went to was outside of the Galleria Mall in 2014. Like, it was only like 15 to 20 of us. I was standing with a group of rabbis and other Palestinian people in solidarity with Palestine because there was some sort of military action that was taken in 2014.
Do you think that protests in 2014 is what made you sympathetic to the Palestinians, or were you always aware of the situation there?
I wasn't always aware of it. I was made aware through my childhood of like, oh, this is something that's happening, but I didn't really know any details. And even when I went to the protest, I was like, okay, well, we have rabbis with us. Clearly, like, this is something that a lot of people feel strongly for. We had a lot of evangelicals on the other side of the street who were screaming at us. So I was like, okay, if in any case you're wondering what is probably the right side to be on during a Middle Eastern conflict, you're probably better off not siding with whatever the U.S. is doing, because historically they've always been the antagonist in the Middle East. So, like, clearly I'm looking at who's yelling at us and what they're yelling. I'm like, you're yelling the same racist stuff that was said to me by bullies, and I know that was wrong. So clearly I'm not receptive to your message.
Weren't you personally attacked at a protest?
Yes, we were there protesting the event of them selling off land in the West Bank. And then they got an order from somebody above them or something, the police, to disperse the crowd and break us up. We had a permit. The city knew we were going to be there. They were the ones who planned this whole thing out. And what I saw was insane. There's something that a lot of people don't know about, is that a lot of the Israeli Americans have this private armed security called the Magen Am. They have like the Star of David. A lot of them are ex-IDF people that work as security forces that are in constant contact with law enforcement, whether we're talking about the local sheriff department or the local police department or FBI, CIA, and they proudly display that on their website. This is not a conspiracy thing. They are available for hire. You can get them to, if you want to have them outside of your bat mitzvah, if you want to get them for any sort of event. But they're there with actual weapons, and they're working with law enforcement. Could you imagine if Muslim people had their own private security guards with weapons, what that would be called? Or if black people had that, they would just call it either a terrorist sleeper cell or a gang. We don't get the same. It's not the same thing that we get as they do. We had permits and permission and everything and being respectful and all that. We still got beat up because they got the order to disperse us, and I got struck in the face by a police baton. A woman next to me was in a wheelchair, and I saw LAPD kick her out of it. And then all the little Israeli supporters that were there, they are so cowardly. They were only pepper spraying women in the eyes. I have been so disillusioned with trying to convince people who don't see me as a human being to humanize us. It's such a weird feeling to be all like, yeah, we deserve to live too. Because there's so much of a thing where they've painted us as like these bloodthirsty, violent, dirty people that don't deserve to aspire to more. But like, they're human beings. They have aspirations, dreams, loves, just like the rest of us.
You're in contact with the Palestinian skateboarding group, aren't you?
I'm talking to Rajab, the head of the Gaza skate team, and he's who I was talking to when we were putting together that little skate video to show what it was like before this latest onslaught and after. They're skating amongst the rubble and stuff. There's nothing worse than that. Like, I had a dream of being able to play music and act in films and stuff, and I got to grow up to do that. Every child deserves to grow up. That's really it.
After speaking with Adam, he expressed that he sometimes felt anxiety with representing something that he felt he never had as a child. He hopes to change the mindset towards his culture, but ironically enough, it feels strange to find an audience after feeling unnoticed for so long. In his studio, he keeps a whiteboard of Middle Eastern artists that he's trying to collaborate with. When one of us wins, we all win, he tells me with a smile. I also asked him how he felt about the anniversary of October 7th. It's not an anniversary, he said to me. It's been going on for much longer than that.
5, 6. There you go.